There are tickets available, so get in the car and come up here.
Yeah.
And see this good young football team coming off, I think, a very good 23-17 win against Syracuse last week. Phil, all right, it had flaws. Who doesn't in week one?
Right.
But Christian Hackenberg, I mean, this guy's going to be the price of admission. You got to come and see this young freshman quarterback, and Allen Robinson, who looks like he's got an NFL future, and some of the other great parts that we're going to talk about.
You know, you brought up probably the 2 points that most Penn State fans were impressed by in the opening football game. But I tell you, after viewing it and going over the film a couple of times, the thing you got to set aside Christian Hackenberg for a second and set aside Allen Robinson, because we've gone over that and how well they performed and how the impact that they had on the Penn State football program. But the thing that impressed me going over the film the most was the performance of the defense. There's no question about it. They performed much, much better than I ever anticipated. DeQuan Jones. I laughed when Gil Brandt of the NFL Network said, hey, he's the best senior three-technique defensive tackle in America. With his performance against Syracuse on Saturday, he gave an indication that might be the case.
Well, you had 9 tackles, 3 for loss, and a sack.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good little resume right there.
And he really clogged up the middle, and I like the play of Kyle Balbitz and Austin Johnson. But I'll tell you, the number one signature thing that I noticed about Penn State's defense, and I think it really got to bode well for this Penn State football team down the road, is they have 2 real big-time physical shutdown opportunity type of cornerbacks. I was extremely, extremely impressed with Jordan Lucas and Trevor Williams. Trevor Williams has great man-to-man press cover skills. So does Jordan Lucas. And what Jordan Lucas kind of brings to the plate, which I think is exceptional, he's 6 foot, he's 195 pounds, he's physical, and he can play that press style of defense at the cornerback position.
Phil Gross with us, and Brian Williams, our producer, back at our studio at ESPN Williamsport, toll-free at 866-454-9592. Again, 866-454-9592. You're right. The defense also, Stephen Obeng Ajipong. I've struggled with that name forever, but he had 9 tackles last week and kind of helped out at linebacker, kind of a rover. Kind of explain his role last week.
Well, sometimes, and they did it earlier. I don't know if you noticed, but very early in the game when they got in their first third down and long situation on the football field, Penn State had 3 linebackers on the field, but do you know who those 3 linebackers were? They were Mike Hull, Stephen Obeng Ajipong, and Adrian Amos. Those were the 3 linebackers when they were in a 3rd and 11 situation on the football field. It's very innovative style of defense with the depth problems they have at the linebacker position now, especially with Mike Hull, who I don't think will play today. He probably could play. He's probably going to be physically ready to go.
What
happened? Bill O'Brien won't talk about the injury. But from what I'm hearing, it was probably an upper calf injury, and it wasn't a knee injury. So I think he's going to stand on the sidelines, and I think they're going to run maybe a lot of 4-2-5 and have Obeng Ajipong come up, and the young man, from down in my brain here. The other outside linebacker, hold on.
Glenn Carson?
No. I'll get it for you here in a second, Jed. Ben Klein, I think, is going to get a lot more reps today on the football field. But Obeng Ajipong plays a lot of the strong safety, free safety position. When they go to the 4-2-5, only have 2 linebackers on the field. He essentially comes up as a rover at the will outside linebacker position, and that's what he played a lot. And they really have a unique scheme with him. Is when they had Hull, Obeng, and Adrian Amos at the linebacker spot, they blitzed a lot with Obeng Ajipong. And I'll tell you, I think he's the most underappreciated member of this Penn State football team. A lot of people remember what happened last year in the game, against Ohio U with a tip pass. But that guy played with an injured shoulder the entire 2012 season. But
that was a fluky play with OU last year. It was a tip ricochet rabbit ball. I mean, you get beat on stuff like that from time to time. So, that's kind of unfair to really pin that on him too much.
Well, but he's a big-time player, and I think he's one of the toughest hitters on the Penn State football team, and he's so versatile, and that's extremely important with the style of defense Penn State wants to play this year.
All right, here's the takeaway. You know how week one is. Bill O'Brien came to the defense of the offensive line in his Tuesday news conference this week. Why weren't they more productive in the running game? Well, a lot of it had to do with Syracuse took that away by putting 8 guys in the box. They dared Hackenberg to beat them. Well, he did with a couple of 50-plus yard touchdown passes, including that beautiful strike to Eugene Lewis early in the fourth quarter. But obviously, Eastern Michigan, this is an area that they have not been very good at statistically. Penn State should be able to get that rocking and rolling today.